Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. And today's tip of the day is ask more questions. I'm going to talk to you today about something that some people out there are going to say, wow, you're way out of your scope here. And I'm going to say bull crap. So I know normally I don't talk about my professional history and stuff a ton. But let's be really abundantly clear for today's topic. It's necessary that you hear this and you hear this up front. I have been a mental health provider for around 15 years professionally. I have been in the industry of providing services such as mental health type services since around 2002, maybe 2003. So 20 plus years. I've been in crisis treatment centers. I've been on lots of places. I've been an outpatient. I've been in lockdown facilities, all kinds of stuff. And the reason that I'm starting with that background is because today I am going to talk to you about medication. And I am not a medical provider. I don't provide psychiatric meds. I don't provide medicinal medications for medical issues. I do not provide medications. But I have learned a lot of things being in environments surrounded by it constantly for the past 2 decades or thereabouts that you need to know. So number one, ask more questions. That's why that's the tip of the day, okay? I am often asked about medications, and I'm going to be abundantly clear. I always start with, well, I am not a medical provider and I don't provide medications. So you'll want to consult with somebody who does. That being said, setting that to the side now for a minute, let me be really clear about the ethics around medicating people for mental health issues, because that's primarily what I'm talking about here. It is ethically, it is wrong to medicate somebody who does not need medication. And ethically, it is also wrong to withhold medication from somebody who does need medication. And that is that fine line that any good provider of medication is going to walk. They're going to ask themselves, do they need this? Not do they want this? Not, can I legally give this to them? Because we all know the answers to those are, yeah, of course, I could give it to them. Of course, this is not that difficult. And yet we see time and time again, somebody spends 7 minutes with somebody and they're medicating them. You try to figure that one out, folks. I spend hours with clients, hours. And unless there's something really, really extreme going on at the beginning, I don't say, hey, you need to go get assessed for medication immediately. That would be crazy for me to do. They came to me because they think that mental health might be able to take care of their issue. And we do talk about the medications people are on. I've been on teams with medical professionals who are making these decisions, and I've gotten to listen to them and learn about how they do things. There is very little here that I'm unaware of. Minus, I have not gone through all the training to learn all of the medication interactions and stuff like that. But I have seen most of them, because a lot of medical professionals who have apparently gone through those trainings still provide medications that interact with each other in really negative ways. because I've seen that. So that's the ethics. It is unethical to withhold a medication from somebody who needs it. It is also unethical to give a medication to somebody who does not need it. You need to know the process, though. The process, how the system works, is really helpful if you are going to explore medications. Let me pause for a second. I'm gonna caveat here for a second. Part of the reason that this conversation is being had here, the reason I'm bringing this to you, is because I had an interaction where I laid out those ethics, and like hundreds of people just got all pissed off because you don't have the right to tell me what to do with my medications. Look, I'm not telling you what to do with your medications. What I'm telling you is if you don't understand the medication process, you're being the idiot. And I don't want you to be that. I want you to be smart enough to know how to navigate this stuff. Back to the process. Know how the system works. I'm going to walk you through it. It's not going to take very long, but hang in there because this is really important. Buy insurance. That's what you do. You buy insurance. Why do we have insurance, folks? Ask more questions, right? Why do we have insurance? People historically bought insurance only if they had assets and enough assets that they were, needing to insure them. So it would be houses, cars, properties, cattle, you stuff like you in the athletic world, you would be like, well, I got to insure myself physically. I have to insure and we insure things that are assets, right? The issue here that I'm going to start with right where you buy insurance. If you have no assets and you're buying insurance, you are buying insurance for little to no reason. Maybe absolutely no reason. If you don't have any assets, but you're buying insurance, what are you paying insurance for? Your health? Eat right, sleep right, exercise right. Like generally speaking, this is not 100% across the board. So, hang in there. Generally speaking, those are the most powerful things you can do. Spending a little money on some medical insurance is not going to help you if you don't do the basics correctly. It's just generally not. Now, some people out there are going to be like, well, but I needed medication because I have diabetes or I like these other life-threatening. Okay, great. I get that. That makes sense then. Okay, you're insuring yourself as the asset because without those medications, you might die very, very early and and not be able to provide for yourself or your family or whatever. And that makes sense. Totally different ballgame. The general population that insures themselves is doing it for no reason. This is why insurance companies are filthy, stinking rich. They suggest 10 to 11 times bigger than big pharma. And we hear complaints about big pharma out there all the time, how they're just too big. And who's complaining about the insurance companies? Maybe we should really pay attention to what's going on here. The insurance design is we collect money from you and then we pay your bill for you. Okay, so hang with that for a second. That's not going to make you healthy, is it? If we collect your money and then we pay your bill for you, you might as well just put your money in a bank. Use the bank to pay the bill. Why do you need an insurance company to do it? See, because you're under the impression that what that insurance company is going to do, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if they come after me for producing this at this point, but hang in there. What you're under the assumption they are doing is negotiating to get you better deals. You're going to get a discount on your services. Well, let's take a look at that for a second. If you have a $5,000 deductible, that means you have to spend $5,000 out of your pocket before insurance pays anything. And you pay $1,000 a month, which is very conservative for a family, a small family, not even a big family, about $1,000 a month. What does that mean? That means $12,000 a year plus $5,000, $17,000 per year so that you can have somebody pay your bill for you. How many of you truly spend $17,000? And those are relatively conservative numbers. You got to do your math. I'm not doing your math for you. I'm just giving you some conservative estimates. We're talking $17,000 so that somebody will pay your bill. If you're single on your own, you're like, well, my insurance is about $300 per month and my deductible is about the same thing, $5,000, $3,000. I mean, those are what I would consider to be smaller deductibles at this point. I've watched as deductibles have risen and risen and risen. They're just massive now, which means, by the way, you're paying out of your own pocket if you go get medical care or mental health care. You're still going to be out $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year plus $5,000. That's $8,600 a year. And if you're in that category, there's a pretty good chance that more often than not, you're not going to meet the deductible throughout the year. Or the alternative happens. You seek unnecessary medical treatment because you're like, oh, I got to use my insurance. Don't want to be getting the raw end of this deal. And so you seek care when you don't need care, clogging up the system for other people. Okay, hang with me. I'm not blaming you. I'm just teaching you the design. The design matters. You buy insurance so that they pay your bill. You just pay a small deductible or a large deductible usually, or a small copay, right? Then what happens? You go to a provider. So you buy insurance, you go to a provider, you get care. The insurance company pays the provider directly. And why do they do that? Because they negotiate costs for them, not for you, but for them to cheapen the care. So they'll work it out. I'll give you factual information. If I was charging $125 a session, an insurance company would maybe make a deal with me. We'll cover $108, and you'll take a hit for the rest of it. But that's the price you pay to be in our network. So you get a small discount. What they don't tell you though is this. Check this out. That means you pay toward your deductible $108, not $125. So your deductible only goes down $108 at a time. But my charge is $125. That has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter because they negotiated this. So you're only going to pay $100, which means you're going to take longer and longer to get to your deductible. You see some of these issues being built in here? Not only that, since you don't pay for your care with your medical provider, with your mental health provider, but the insurance company does, then who's the client for the provider? So for me as a provider, I'm like, wow, technically here I have two clients. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Well, yeah, I mean, to some degree, yeah. Well, but no, because insurance companies get away with anything these days. Really, you're supposed to be the person I care about the most. But there are providers out there who, even though you're supposed to be the one that I care about the most, they won't put you in the number one seat. Why? Because you don't actually pay anything. If you pay a copay, it's small in comparison to what the insurance companies pay. So if the insurance companies say, hey, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or, does that person really need this? And you look at it and you go, well, I think so, yes. And the insurance company says, well, no. Who does that come back to? Now the insurance companies, because they pay the provider, can dictate your care. All because they just say, we're not going to pay for it. So if you want to provide that for your clients, even if it's the best thing in the world for your clients, we're not going to pay for it. So you would have to do it out of your own pocket, doctor, or, a psychiatric nurse, or whoever it is that's providing whatever care. Weird, right? If the insurance company won't pay me for it, then I'm going to, as a provider, do one of two things. I'm going to take it in the shorts. How many providers do you think will do that? Almost zero. Or I'm going to change my practices so that I can get paid. And it's not by you. So I'm not going to change them to you in your face. I'm not going to be like, well, let's come up with a solution together. Nope. In the back, I'm just going to say, as a provider, I'm going to say, well, the insurance companies won't pay that out. So I don't even offer that anymore. Even though that may be the best option on the planet for you, it is no longer an option because I can't get paid. How are you liking this system so far? Is this sounding pretty reasonable? Here's the problem. We trust it all based on this information. Insurance will make us healthy. Providers are just looking out for us, and they all say the same thing. So it must be true. If I go from one provider to the next provider to the next provider, and they all say the same thing, it's because they've all run into the insurance companies that won't pay out for the best option. So yes, you're going to hear the same thing time and time again from different providers. But if you catch one of them in a moment and they say something like, well, really, your best option might be this, but that's not reimbursable. So if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do that out of your own pocket. Here's the problem with that. Insurance companies have put these loops in there that if providers do that and they turn people to using private pay when they are insured, they can come after the provider. Oh my gosh, they have covered all the loops, folks. But here's the solution. Ask more questions. Ask more questions. I can tell you right now, there are some people who are somewhat immune to this dysfunctional system. Find them. Find mental health providers that don't take insurance. Find medical professionals that don't take insurance and ask them questions. Go to a pharmacist, tell them you don't have insurance and see what the prices would be. And then say, oh, I actually do have insurance. What would the price be for this with insurance? Compare them straight across. See what the difference is. You're going to be shocked. You might pay $2, $3 more than the copay for most things. That's nothing. That's nothing considering you spent $17,000 to get that $2 savings. Are you kidding me? I'll keep the 17. Thank you very much. I'll use that to pay the extra $2. Now there are exceptions. You're going to find some things where they have actual exceptions that do make more sense. But I'm going to tell you on a big picture, most surgeries are cheaper if you cash pay than it would have been to have the insurance. Surgery. I mean, you're talking big time medical issue. It's usually cheaper if you cash pay. I know it's weird, but go out, ask more questions. The other thing I did mention already, but I'm gonna restate it. A pharmacist will not tell you the cash pay price if you have insurance. So start with, hey, I'm going to cash pay. What's it going to cost me? And then get that number and then say, actually, what if I have insurance and what would that cost me then? That puts them in the pickle where they've told you already. And now they would run the insurance and they would tell you a different number. And it usually wouldn't be much different. Sometimes it's actually more. Folks, you've got to ask more questions about this stuff. The other thing I would explore, look for alternative medicines. Why? I'm not telling you you can't go with your normal medical doctors. I'm not suggesting that. Western medicine has a real place in our culture, a good place. If I'm about to die, I want a Western medicine doctor by my side. And they keep my stuff alive better than anybody on the planet. Go into a Western medicine doctor, they're going to give you more lists of alternatives. They're going to spend more, or an Eastern medicine or a naturopathic doctor. They're going to give you alternatives, way more alternatives. Well, we could do this. We could do this. We could look down the allergy path. We could explore this. Let's take a look at your diet. Let's take a look at your exercise patterns. Let's do all of these things and whatnot. They're going to go through a bigger gamut of options for you. And that still doesn't mean they're right. A good practice might be go to, a naturopathic, go to a Western medicine doctor, and then ask around, ask friends, family, other people who have adventured down this, whatever path this is that you're on, and get those opinions as well. When you put all this stuff together, by asking more questions, you're going to make more informed decisions. Because if you ask a surgeon, surgery is necessary. If you ask a hammer, it's definitely a nail. If you ask a screwdriver, it's definitely, we're just going to have to twist it in there. Right? Like, you got to understand how this system works in order to ask the right questions. And I gave you some options of questions to ask. Ask them. Ask more than that. Folks, I do this stuff to help you. Not for any other reason. Like right now, I don't make money on this. I do this to help you. I am a provider and I want to help you. If this was helpful to you, please forward it to friends. Like, subscribe, all those things, because it does eventually maybe help me. But if you look at all of the podcasts that I put out, they're all designed to help you. And they've all been for free because I give a crud. I want you to have a better life. That's what I want. Share this with as many people as you can, folks. Let's get the word out there. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.